Hello. So I have an update video, and it's about installing Windows 7 on the built-in RAID controller on the motherboard. And it's the Intel chipset SATA RAID controller. And I created in the UEFI BIOS a RAID disk, and I couldn't install Windows 7 on it. And it also said that Windows can't boot on this disk. But I actually found another way of doing it. It's not really a workaround, it's actually a feature. And I'll show you later how I sort of fixed that in the BIOS. And also fixed the game port creative, and it showed up as unknown device. And I tried to install the driver for it, but it wouldn't accept it. But there's sort of another way of doing it. So you're updating the software, and first you click this browse to computer, and this was the sort of the first thing I did. Go over here, select that game port to driver, but this doesn't work. So what I have to do is choose this. Let me pick from a list, and it shows up creative game port, and you press the have disk and browse over here, and then select sort of the driver folder for it and open that. And then I managed to sort of OK and then install it, and then it worked. Then suddenly it showed up here. So that's fixed now. And back to the RAID. Here you can actually see the this is the Rapid Storage Technology software. So you can actually see the RAID arrays that I have. So you can see I have two SSDs. I named them SSD RAID 0 so that I know it's the SSD version. And I got two, you can shortly see it there. It says Intel SSD. So it's two 160 gigabyte SSDs, and I RAID them. And I installed Windows on this. So in Windows right now, it actually shows up as one single 320 gigabyte disk, which is really nice. And then I got the storage drives. It shows 2 terabytes. And that's the other one there. It's two 1 terabyte drives in the RAID 0 as well. And yes, I have backed everything up on a external drive, so there's no problem there. So that's that, and this is how it shows up in the disk management. So this is the SSD disk, and this is the storage drives. And earlier I was actually running them as software RAID, so they showed up as two separate drives here, and I made a software RAID of them, but now they are in the motherboard. So let me show you how I did this in the BIOS. So let's jump to that. Hello. So I am in the BIOS, or UEFI BIOS, because it's a new motherboard that I got and I never used it before, the UEFI. And I wanted to be able to install Windows 7 on the RAID controller. So I decided that I was creating, what I did was go to advanced here, and I went down to the PCH storage configuration, and instead of having the AHCI, I selected RAID, and I rebooted the computer. And when I actually rebooted the computer, I got the option At the bottom here, it doesn't show up now, but it said Intel Rapid Technologies or Rapid Storage Technology. And I was able to create a RAID disk there. But the problem with doing it in this BIOS was actually that it's not bootable. You can't install Windows on that RAID drive. And you can't boot of it either. So I actually found a solution for this on the internet. And you go actually to the boot menu here. And actually fast boot, I have that disabled. And you have to clear some other stuff there in the key. But also change the, let's see if I go to the CSM, the compatibility support module. And in here I actually have the launch CSM enabled. And the rest of this I set to legacy only. So boot device control, legacy OPROM only, boot from network devices, legacy only, boot from storage device, legacy only, and boot from PCIe expansion devices. Everything here is legacy only. So when I actually restart, nothing changes. I should be able to get the RAID controller BIOS like this, and I press Control I. And I didn't get this if I had the legacy set to UEFI boot. But if I set it to legacy only, I will get this menu, and I will be able to create the RAID array over here. And you can see I have two. I can use the mouse here. No, I have two RAID volumes. One called SSD R0, which SSD RAID 0. And you can see I have two 160 gigabyte SSDs there in the RAID. So I get, well, 320. And then I got the two 1 terabyte drives in RAID as well. And yes, I have a backup disk as well. And I never ever save on the SSDs documents. So so that's kind of how you do it. You create the RAID in here, and now you will be able to actually install Windows 7 on that boot drive. So yeah, that's kind of nice. So that's how you do it. So see you later.